Gayatri Mahamant with your back straight, both hands on your laps, left beneath the right. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Deva Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namo Namah. Akhand Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namo Namah. Om Shri Guruve Namo Namah. Vyas Rupena Avahayami Sthapyami Dhyayami Pujyami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Akshar Brahma Yoga, Chapter 8, verse number 22. It talks about devotion, bhakti, and not in ordinary terms. The word devotion or bhakti has been brought in by the timeless master. There is another word there to define what kind of devotion is required. Ananya. To be, in simple term, devoid of any alternate, devoid of any contamination, devoid of any kind of if, but, therefore. Simply one way ticket, Ananya, without any resolve. Just one way, nothing at all. So many words can be used, phrases can be deployed to express the essence of this word Ananya. Whereas the meaning shall settle down to devoid of any other option. Nothing, nothing, nothing that can infringe into that kind of a devotion. It's beyond the regulation of any intensity. Now it is it. A devotion which is to be termed as it is Ananya devotion. There is a devotion where one could be blindfold. Without much consideration, one might submit oneself toward a subject or a person. But Ananya Bhakti is not used, it has not been deployed towards any subject which is prone to mutation, towards any person which is today, may change tomorrow, may not exist, may cease to exist tomorrow. Something which has an age and a form and is prone to mutation, change. Ananya Bhakti cannot be subjected towards that. Ananya Bhakti is only and only towards that all pervasive Almighty, which is omniscient, omnipresent, nothing short of it. Yes, it does exist in the deepest cavity of our heart. It does reside over there. So it can be only towards that and nothing short of it. Anything short of it is prone to change, mutation, doubt, skepticism. Ananya Bhakti means, is it simple? Devotion? No, it's not simple. It is very difficult. It comes to a being after an evolution has touched, has kissed the zenith of one's arduous journey towards upliftment. It comes when the mind, which is prone, most vulnerable to doubt, has now perished, it has dissipated. It does not exist anymore. It cannot project any single doubt from there onward. That is the basic prerequisite to experience Ananya Bhakti, Ananya devotion. When the intellect has now ceased to pop any thought of any kind as a critique or in support, it ceases to exist, then we find the manifestation of Ananya devotion. When the chitta, the mental plane, it is now absolutely devoid of any kind of a disturbance, distortion, interference by any imagination or a past recall, seeking, whatever, then only the Ananya devotion shall manifest. When the isness, the outward expression of isness termed as ego, that too shall immerse into the prime objective to seek emancipation, only then shall manifest devotion that is devoid of any other resolution, of any other resolve, of any other alternate. Nothing left now. Anything short of it is not Ananya devotion. I'm not giving any word to merely translate the word Ananya. Devotion, of course, is there for the bhakti, but the word Ananya, let it be there and be well accommodated by any other language of the world, because it alone suffices to express the absolute sense of submission and submissions towards the highest and the only objective of human manifestation, Atma Sakshatkar, realization of true self. Nothing short of it shall deserve a Ananya devotion. The timeless master, through this verse, has brought in this mention before a specific name of Arjuna, Partha. Parth means a one who has now been able to develop an insight, a wisdom which is so fine, which is so subtle, so sattvic, that it can encompass all aspects into consideration. You can term it as the highest esteem of the far sighted wisdom. Even if the far sighted wisdom has to be given any degree of excellence, let it be the highest one. That has to be termed as prakhar pragya. That intent, that insight is termed here as Parth. Though the name is derived from his mother, Pritha Putra, the name which was of Arjuna's mother, Pritha Putra, termed as Parth, belonging to Pritha. The word Pritha is also to throw a lot of luminosity upon the ability to discern, discriminate, and distinguish between facts. So, the word Pritha then leads to Parth, one who belongs to Pritha, then further connects towards devotion that has been termed here as Ananya. Anything short of it is not Ananya. Of course, in the journey towards Ananya devotion, there are steps, there are levels through which one has to traverse and evolve, and those steps of that ladder could also be devotional song, singing devotional song that we term here in India as bhajan, devotional song. One may also ascribe to one particular idol, one may propitiate the mantra of an idol of any form. It means to sing the glory or to immerse into the glory of your chosen deity through any form is, of course, maybe the primary rung of the ladder that ultimately shall lead towards the zenith where it becomes Ananya. From the God that is outward, ultimately turning inward into the deepest cavity of the heart. Having said so, I would also like to add something over here. We understand with common understanding, we understand with a common understanding that the Almighty has been bestowed with the qualities. Yes, I'm using these words which are very ordinary and into common usage. We also bestow the quality of God, being one as quality or features of God, you may call it, as one being omniscient and omnipresent. If that be so, then let us also believe that the God does exist without form and with form as well. Why did I mention that? Because now I need to come down to the verse wherein you'll be able to connect to the second line of the same verse. The first one says, it conveys Purusha Sah Parah Parth Bhaktaya. That Purusha, that Almighty, Labhya tu Ananya, is attainable, can be attained by devotion that is Ananya, devotion of the highest kind, where nothing else exists anymore. Nothing, no mind, no intellect, no mental plane, no ego left. It alone exists. That is termed as Ananya Bhakti. Yasya antah sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. Yasya antah sthani bhutani. It's there into the deepest cavity of the heart of each and every being. It's there within each being. Sarva Bhutani. The word Sarva has not been mentioned, but Bhutani by itself does not confine to humans alone. Humans alone are not the only living ones. And one step further, the word Bhutani should also encompass not only consciousness but also matter. So it exists within everything. It exists within animate and inanimate matter or living beings of any kind, any species, not confined to humans, to any species, any kind of living beings. It's there. And the second part of the second line says, Yena sarvam idam tatam. It exists in everyone, and everyone, each one, or everything, or the entirety exists within it. Like by saying to a beloved, you exist within me, and I am within you. So, a kind of a fusion. It's a kind of a fusion where two things submerge into each other. It's not about mingling, it's not to mingle, but to get fused. It's like a fusion. One thing now fused into another. That's what has been termed here. It exists within us and we exist within it. Having said that, Bhutani, Bhutani is the word that brings me to that same mention which I did bring before you a while ago, that it is omniscient, it's omnipresent, it's with form, it's without form. We have no right to challenge or to criticize those who claim to, who claim or who ascribe to words a path of worship, a mode of worship wherein they worship an idol with form. And especially those exalted ones who were able to manifest their idol out of a statue made out of matter or a picture made out of matter. They were able to manifest that highest consciousness within that matter through that matter. So nothing can be challenged in that respect if we believe and we stay firm upon the prominent feature of the Almighty that we humans understand as a prominent feature, which is it's omniscient and it's omnipresent. The moment we start doubting, we start ascribing to a thought that no, it is only formless alone, not with form. Whosoever shall consider with form, Almighty with form, is someone who's not to be considered as a with the rational mind. Yes, you may say that, but then you are dismantling the fundamental bedrock which defines the Almighty, omniscient, omnipresent. If it is omnipresent, then there can be no reason to doubt about its manifestation through a matter, in a matter, through a matter. We cannot. Because it's all pervasive. The last word in this verse is tatam. Tatam means all pervasive. It's all pervasive. You cannot find a place of existence where it does not exist, for it exists everywhere. There is nothing that is left without it. And if at all there is anything left, it is there too. If at all anything is left, then it is there too. It's there into the shunya because it itself is mahashunya. These words try to ground one understanding in a seeker. When your mind, your insight, your within has now settled, it's no more into any kind of doubt. It's no more vulnerable to any thought popping, change of priorities, any doubt. Any kind of newness now does not appeal toward to it. That's kind of state of highest state of being settled within. Then one can experience the invocation of bhakti, devotion, that is ananya. For a person, I'm saying a word, person, yes, a person, a seeker, a being who is now under a spell of devotion, who has now, the spell is not the right word, I withdraw this word, who has now transmutated into the devotion which is ananya. For it, there is no time. There is no time, span of time. It now exists within its objective, to cherish its objective, irrespective of this birth or another birth. The cycle of birth and death no more comes to subject it with its own norms. Such a being with the resolute will of this kind can be none other than someone who is to be crowned with the glory of Nachiketa. Chiketa means Chiketa is one with the scintillating insight, wavering insight. Nachiketa, devoid of such an insight, is Nachiketa. Steadfast, resolute, relentless, nothing else but this. That is devotion, which is Ananya. And this does not come by mere understanding a definition at the end of one's intellect. Be it me or you, we both travel together. We both are trying to understand this subject through our intellect, our understanding. But this state will not come just like that. We will have to slog through countless, countless projections of doubts, countless projections by change of priorities, countless projections to seek newness, countless projections to weigh, judge, create, dismantle, recreate, reconstitute. After we arrive at end where there is nothing left now to change. When that final point shall arrive, then only the manifestation of devotion of this highest cadre, termed as Ananya, shall come. And to whomsoever it comes, Arjuna, Parth, to be more specific, the Parapurush, the Parampurush, the Absolute, the highest consciousness, Almighty, go on adding terms to it. Ultimately, one would settle down to what is mentioned in Gayatri as an indication alone. It, that, when left with nothing to add, nothing to add as a rejoinder, then you settle with one thing, that. You can only indicate it. It's all encompassing. That shall then unravel itself before you. You shall be able to realize that. That is an assurance given by the timeless master Adi Guru Muni Vedvyas through this verse, which explains which explains about devotion of the highest kind, known as Ananya. ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है.